Hi, I welcome all of you onto our channel of Webdyn. It's been a pleasure to host this important video on the introduction of Webdyn because uh, there has been several inquiries, several queries, and from the customer sides, from the industry leaders like you, and who are eager to know more about Webdyn products or services. And in this way, considering this case, I thought of to make up a short video which will be informative for sure for you, for all of you. Just giving you a brief about Webdyn. Webdyn is a global leader in design and development of machine-to-machine communication devices such as data loggers, gateways, routers, sensors, wired and wireless devices for various applications. Webdyn is also a member of Long Range WAN Alliance, which is called in short form LoRa Alliance, and a member of G3 PLC Alliance. PLC here stands for Power Line Communications. So Webdyn holds its expertise in the field of specifically the machine communications. And this is where the word M2M stands for machine-to-machine communications. It's been over 20 years. We are in this market. Webdyn invests almost of the 50% of its revenue in R&D, 20% of its workforce consists of only R&D team. This means that continuously we try to improve, continuously we try to implement new technologies, continuously we try to be more stronger and stronger in terms of communications. And as you know that today it's really vital for you to communicate with the things that are around you. And this is why the concept IoT, it is called Internet of Things, has evolved. If you will just go in past, initially we were communicating through some telegrams, through some letters, and which was quite tedious and hectic because we were only able to share some very crucial and important information, and that too not always. Then with the evaluation of the time, we come out, we got some good developments, and we were able to move into the era of electronics communications. And this is where we started up chatting, started up working on the started up browsing, started up the chattings, started up emailings, started up now after that using social networks. And that concept can be termed as Internet of People, because Internet has brought up the people closer in a circle basically, and in a group. Similarly, now the things were left. The things are your assets, your machineries, your home appliances, your the things that are in your surrounding which you really want to get the information from, but it's really, really costly for you to continuously move or to travel towards that object to see how it is responding, if it is working or not working. If it is working, then how efficiently it is working. And sometimes it is also not possible to see how effectively it is working. It might be working, it might not be working. This is what you can see. You can also see, maybe with some local displays, if that object is having that, this device is working to that level. But again, you are missing some crucial and vital informations which can be taken directly from inside of the machine through a proper mode of communication. And this is where you really, really need to rely on the masters. who are the leaders in this communication sector, like Webdyn. So Webdyn, as I've already said, that is a 20 years old company catering to the global requirements of various sectors, which includes energy, conventional, non-conventional energy sources. That includes your environment, that includes your industry, energy efficiency monitoring for the industries, which is again quite crucial, as you really need to know that where you are actually losing up your energy components, be it electrical energy or thermal energy. You really need to record, you really need to monitor the data on regular basis. So that first of all, it should be manual intervention free, which means the margin of errors and faults are quite less or almost negligible. Then you have the machine-based data from your plants, from your shops, from your utilities. And according to the data collected, according to the information that you have got, based on to the consumption patterns from the different plants, from the different units, from the different shops or the utilities directly, you can plan out their schedule maintenance or replacements or specific schedule or the timings that okay for this particular time if this device, this compressor, this DG is running, whereas this rating of the DG is really not needed to manage a small load, which can be managed from your other DG, which is just half of the capacity of what you are running. Or might be there could be several other cases, you know, where you can immediately take your managerial decisions based on to the data, reliable data that you have. This is where monitoring plays a very crucial role. So Webdyn is available wherever you can think of collecting a data. Coming on to Webdyn India Private Limited. Webdyn India Private Limited is the Indian subsidiary of Webdyn France. We are catering to the requirements for monitoring needs, monitoring solutions in India, Middle East, and Southeast Asian markets from India as a hub since last 5 years now. And we are continuously growing. We started up the operations in India with 2 people. Today, we have a team of technical support engineers, business development executives, myself acting as managing director, then the team of finance, accounts, stores, and then we have grown up with our local authorized distributors. Today, Webdyn is one of the recommended choice of the solar players in the industry because initial target has been the solar industry for Webdyn. To support solar industry because that industry was booming up, that industry was looking for something reliable, yet flexible with more of the ruggedness so that it can work for long, it can be flexible as per their requirements, their needs, and they don't need to think about whether this will suit or that will suit when they are really going to implement something on their plan for monitoring requirements. So this is where Webdyn has come up with specifically 3 on-the-shelf products. Yes, we do have off-the-shelf capabilities to develop the products as well, depending on the specific customer requirements and the protocols if they need. So we do both on-the-shelf and off-the-shelf. We do white labeling. We also provide the devices with our own brand, which is Webdyn. So coming on to the on-the-shelf products. So we have 3 main ranges. We have 3 main ranges of it. First one is called Webdyn Sun. I'll show you how it looks like. This is Webdyn Sun. Most of you might be familiar with this data logger. It's quite lightweight. It's quite rugged, yet flexible. And all our data loggers comes with a standard warranty of 2 years. Further, the extended warranty options are available and based on 2 discussions can be seen. This this is small data logger. This is the antenna, which should be mounted over here if you are using a SIM card for the internet connectivity. You can also use a LAN port to provide the internet connectivity to this device. Here you have the possibility, I think I'll try to make it more clear to you. Here you have the possibility to connect analog sensors on the top 4 ports. You can see here the output of the sensors can vary from 0 to 10 volts and 4 to 20 milliamperes. Then you have the ports for index entries, where you can connect the meters with pulse outputs. Then you have dry inputs. Then you have dry output to manage your local controls at the site. If you are using the SIM card, you can send the SMSs directly to the SIM card to activate or deactivate any of the port independently to take the local action at the site. This you can manage if you are sitting anywhere in the world just with the help of SMS command. This is what you really need to control and to monitor. This is what is a crucial port called RS485 for the Modbus communications, RS232 port, and this is RS485A port, which is another RS485 port, but meant for communications with these specific inverters that are having their own proprietary protocols like SMA or RS485 that follows SMANet, CACO or Refusol or Danfoss or Siemens, those are of inverters. Whereas all other type of inverters can be connected here, which are following Modbus RTU protocols or SunSpec protocols. If your inverters are, it doesn't matter if your inverters are central or string inverters, they can be connected easily. If your inverters follow TCP/IP Modbus, then they can be connected over here directly for the Modbus communications. So this port basically is a multi-purpose port that communicates with TCP/IP Modbus and also acts as a port to get the internet connectivity for this device through LAN. So you can use either LAN if it is available on your site, or a SIM card. SIM cards are always better because you have better control if you are using SIM card from remote locations for diagnostic parts, for status related alerts, and even to control your relay outputs. This device consists of an internal battery as well. And the purpose of the battery is to raise power off and power on alerts to your servers. Similarly, there is a device which is just a subset of Webdyn Sun. We call it Webdyn Modbus. As you can see, it's a very small device. This is Webdyn Sun, and that is Webdyn Modbus. So if you'll see, they look like similar, but it looks like just like a kid or a son of this device. Yes, you're right, because first of all, I'll come on to what are the similarities. The similarity is that it is having an RS485 port. It is having an RS485 port, which is meant for Modbus communications, which means you can connect all your Modbus devices connected in a single daisy chain. And over here, there is no practical limitation on the Modbus. Whatever are the manufacturer's limit decided for the inverters or the meters or the string combiner boxes or any of the Modbus slave device to be connected in a chain by the manufacturer, you can connect that much number. Maximum you can go up to 255 in a single daisy chain. That's what it is, strength of this small device. And similarly for this. In addition, the SIM slot is given over here. You can insert the SIM card here. If you want to use the SIM card in the same fashion, you have the GSM antenna, the LAN port or the TCP/IP Modbus port if you want to use it for whatever purpose. In case if you want to use it for both the purposes, you can use a LAN switch, which will convert the single LAN to multi-LAN ports, and then you can use one port for TCP/IP, one for internet, and one to connect your own laptop or a PC to configure in the same network. Both these devices comes up with the embedded web pages, which you can connect with your laptop, open up with that URL, And before opening up that URL, you have to make the settings of your Ethernet settings of your laptop in the same network, which is 192.168.1.12, the URL for this device. So basically, you can set your laptop to 192.168.1.13. If you will configure the Ethernet settings of your laptop in that way, you will be able to access the web page and to do the configurations. For the configuration part, we'll upload another video where our technical team will also help you out with the basic configuration steps, so that whenever you are at site, you can directly refer to those videos, and this will be of much of the help. These devices, now coming on to the differences, this device, like this device, is not having any analog port, it's not having any dry input, it's not having any dry output, it's not having any index entries, and also not having the embedded battery. This means it can take only the Modbus communication possibilities. So if you have RS485 Modbus or TCP/IP Modbus devices on your site, like inverters, meters, or sensors with Modbus outputs or string combiner boxes, you can connect them directly over here. But in case of any power failure, you will not get any sort of alert. What you will get only is that its device disconnected. Device can be disconnected for two reasons: power supply or the no network coverage. So this means if there is a network coverage issue, then the data that is being collected by the device will get stored in the internal memory of it. And once the network is back and the device is powered, the data will be pushed onto your FTP servers. These devices support FTP server for data push. And the FTP servers normally should act as a passive servers in this case. These are called masters. So these will push the data onto the FTP servers in zipped CSV file formats. These file formats can further be taken by various web portal companies, and they can merge those data to showcase you a very good graphical user interface, a GUI. I'll show you some hints how the GUI can look like, or how the technical specifications will be for this. Both these devices comes up with embedded with integrated power supply as an accessory, but in the first purchase, it always comes complimentary. This power supply is basically sort of an adapter that converts AC supply to DC supply, a single phase AC to 24 volt DC, and this 24 volt DC can be connected onto the power port of the Webdyn. So basically, this is what is the complete unit that you get. Similarly, with Webdyn Modbus. I'll try to show you something specific on like why Webdyn, like, because you might see, okay, there is nothing very specific in this solution, what I have told, then why you should go for Webdyn. Just a small detail I'll show you that why. So as you know that, first of all, Webdyn is having an expertise of what? Of over 19 years, which are almost now 20 years coming up. Customer relations. We have over 165 satisfied customers in India, Middle East, and ASEAN region, and over 5,500 solar PV rooftop sites already covered, which means a portfolio of almost 2 gigawatt that is being covered with Webdyn solution for monitoring. And small scale utilities, in these sites. And the flexibility and quality, which is mostly the crucial component when you select any particular device, not only the data logger, but when you select any particular device. Mostly flexible devices are needed when you have heterogeneous sites. You have multiple sites with different ratings, different brand of inverters, different brand of meters, different brand of sensors. So you really need to rely on to a rugged yet flexible and quality based solutions. So this is where Webdyn comes up handy for you. We follow very rigorous standards for the quality, CE, UL, ROHS for safety, RED, RESCH levels, radio and telecom directives, EMC, EMI, low voltage directives, and furthermore. So, this is what is the standard that we really follow, which makes our device to stand for longer periods in comparison for years and years if they are managed well in the operations. Then comes the level of the price positioning. So the pricing is not the cheapest of the lot, of course, and it's not the highest of the lot. These are very well proportioned, very well based, that can suit your requirements of monitoring for a simple like 10 kilowatt or a 5 kilowatt site as well, and also for 5 megawatt site or a 10 megawatt site as well. The running cost, in comparison to the low cost solutions that you may find in the market, the running cost of this device is almost negligible, which means those devices can trouble you in a very short time. You might face several problems and issues with the devices coming up at almost of the half of the price maybe. And from the day one, you will be just spending up your additional money, which you may not have taken in account anytime while finalizing the budget for monitoring. Those problems could be like hanging of the devices, overheating that might cause any sort of the problem, like stoppage of the data, no data anytime, sudden shutdown of the device, or sudden rebooting of the device, or no connectivity to the server, or burning of the device instead, and burning of any component inside. There might be several issues, and for every reason you might have to send a person on the site every time to check where is the issue, where is the concern. Now consider those overhead costings that you are incurring on this low cost device, which are normally not quality oriented. This is where we never compromise on the quality levels. All our devices are manufactured, designed, tested in France, and then they are imported in India. And in India also, before we deliver it to the clients, we test at our levels best. Then we have Webdyn's data concentrators that are meant for heterogeneous sites, which means you can have multi-brands of inverters, meters, sensors. You don't really need to think about whether this device will work onto that side or this side or on that side or not. It will work. It will work because it works for 100% of the Modbus inverters, 100% with Sunspec Modbus protocol-based inverters, and in addition, that almost no one do. We have the possibility to communicate with the very specific proprietary protocol-based inverters as well. That's what is the advantage. So you have seen that, what I've tried to explain there, why you should go for Webdyn, the expertise, the flexibility, the quality, the reliability, service support available, and it's been almost like 5 years in India, and we are still existing, and we have big plans to grow. And so this means that we are not a company that has come up, just make up a quick business, to make up some quick profits or whatever, the losses, and just to move out from the market and to see what new we can do. We are a data logger company. We are since 20 years in this field. We will be, God willing, for many, many, many more years to come. So this is what is about the data loggers. And coming on to the graphical user interface and the web portal part. I'll show you how the data can be integrated and how you can have a better analytics of your plans. Just showing you some screenshots. As you can see, you have this sort of a dashboard where you have multiple plans. This plan could have different model and makes of the inverter meter sensors. This plan could have different models, different model altogether. But still you will see your complete portfolio is under a single user login and password as an admin. And you have the possibility to view and compare, analyze all your plans with different ratings. You have the initial first-hand information available always of your plans. On the dashboard, you have generation summaries, number of sites connected under your portfolio, and generation that has happened in terms of AC, DC sites, your KPIs, your alerts, event summaries, your generation coverage, how better it is, or you can never get these sort of informations normally when you're not using a high level or an effective monitoring. Your last 30 days information, and then similarly you can go for inverter level informations, the number of inverters, what they are producing individually. Then further you can go on to parameter readings. You can go on to parameter readings and can search. Then the events, live events summary gives you the events that has occurred on any of your running site or non-running site which are under your portfolio. You can click onto the particular events, you can get their trace, you can get the tickets. The same can be emailed to the concerned person or the concerned department, and it can be traced. It gives you a geolocalization of your locations as well. Then a scheduler, which you can schedule, then the different portfolios for different users, contracts that you can put in for the billings, for PPA agreements, and then your report formats, which you can manage for particular clients. Similarly, you have much more possibilities in this, which you can straight away go for. So you have seen that, how Webdyn solutions can be effective, can be reliable, can be can be of a win-win situation, for your cases. As I've tried to explain about Webdyn, this is what is the data sheet of the Webdyn Sun, how it looks like. The installation part is quite simple, and the first configuration is carried out by the web pages of the embedded web server. The web servers, as I've already explained, are the by default web pages that you can open with the given URL, and that can be changed after that if needed. Once configuration has been carried out, data collection can start in an automatic and periodic mode. This periodic mode is again user configurable from a minute to once a day. You can set this period to collect the data, and similarly to push the data onto your servers. Once the configuration and the synchronization with the remote server is done, the the data formats and frequencies are set. Your communication will be set, and you will be free from the task. Data are generated in CSV formats that are sent periodically to the servers with the help of either a mobile network. It is having an embedded modem, so you don't need any dongle. It's just a SIM card that you have to use, or Ethernet. Similarly, I think I've tried to explain. Good point to notice. Up to 100 inverters that can be monitored with a single gateway. Very low consumption of data on mobile networks. This is again very crucial part to determine the quality and the performance of the device. The architecture, which is quite important for you to understand. You can treat this as your field. where you have your central devices like inverters acting onto inverter protocol or maybe Modbus output connected, meters with either the index entries like counters or pulses or the Modbus outputs connected, circuit breakers, relays, or your lightning arresters, safety devices. Their status can also be measured or monitored over here. Sensors, either if they are having 0 to 10 volt output or 420 milliampere outputs or Modbus, they can be connected here. And once the data is processed in a CSV, it is pushed onto the server. The server is basically a FTP server in this format. This is what is the main role of the building block of this concentrator, to collect the information from your fields and to push it on the servers. From the servers, I've already told you, all your user applications can integrate this data and can show you the deeper and better analytics. We can provide you the complete solution, which includes your data logger, the web portal applications, the cloud server, and sensors, Modbus modules, meters as well. Inverters in our portfolio will also be coming soon, but we are not going to be specific to any particular make. We are open for any brand, any make of the inverters or the meters or the sensors to communicate. Characteristics tells you clearly about the power consumption. Maximum power consumption is 4 watt. So which means when it is actually utilizing the modem power to transmit the data, then only it utilizes 4 watts. In normal conditions, it ranges between 1 to 2 watts only. Dimensions are quite small and it's quite a handsome product. 157 mm length, 86 mm height, and 59 mm of depth only. You got screw terminals directly to connect your cables and wires for the communications. It's quite simple and it's a DIN rail mounted, so it can be mounted in our existing IP65 panels, polycarbonate or ABS panels if you are using SIM card, or you can mount it in the metal cabinets if you are using LAN. Or if you have the provision to mount it only in the metal cabinets, but you want to use SIM cards, then you have the option to connect flexible antennas that can come out of the metal cabinets for better signal receptions. Webdyn Modbus, as I said, it's just a subset of it, and this will be explained by the architecture of it. As you see, the inverters, meters, and either Modbus equipment or sensors, everything is having Modbus communication protocol possibility, and they can connect directly here. It follows the same smart firmware as Webdyn Sun. Terminology for data transfer, data type is all same onto the server and then onto the user. Its own power consumption is 3 watt, as it's a smaller unit than Webdyn Sun. So 1 watt of the power consumption is less in this case. Now coming on to the very important and crucial product, which is quite an important product and that plays a very crucial role today in the market, which is called Webdyn Sun PM. Webdyn Sun PM, as its name suggests, is the next generation Webdyn Sun with the possibility to pilot and management your plant, which means now you have the power to manage or control your site locally with some programs, with some scripts that you can write up or can be written on your request in the device itself, as it is having an inbuilt controller plus a data logger. So it's a multi-purpose device now, data logger plus controller, which means it can manage your DGPV synchronization requirements. It can manage zero injection power to the grid if you don't have net meterings and you don't want to export any power to the grid, but you want to utilize your solar to maximum. So it manages the dynamic control of the inverters based on to their generation, based on to load requirements. Similarly, in case of DGPV cases, if you want to manage DGs to run only onto 30-35% or at a particular loading, whereas the balance should be met by your solar, this can control. Minimum you can have anything as a single point control, maybe a single DG or a grid. And at maximum, with a single device, you can control up to 3 DGs plus a grid. So that's what is the power of this device. In addition to this, you always get analog ports to connect analog sensors, and 3 RS485 ports for Modbus communications instead. 3 communication ports for Modbus communications instead, and 3 dry inputs. So to take these status, or if you are using DG PV application in consideration, then these ports will require the DGs running signal like DG on or DG off. You have got 2 LAN ports to manage 2 different networks in a single device. You have got micro SD slot to expand your memory and also to get your data locally from the device itself, because this device will make a copy on the inserted micro SD cards for the data files that it is transferring to the servers. In addition, there is a catch that it is capable to push the data onto dual servers, a primary server and a secondary server. So from the field, it can feed 2 servers parallelly, which is again a crucial component. Follows various standards as I've already mentioned, and the catch is again is still the power is 4 watts maximum. What else you need, like from a controller or from a data logger? So this is what, as I've explained, if you want to see it practically how Webdyn PM looks like, apart from the data sheet, I have one for you, and here it is. You can see that it's of the same similar dimensions as you have got Webdyn Sun, but there is a slight change in the hardware, in the firmware as well, and in the structuring. You have got 2 LAN ports. You've got a USB port. You have got analog ports for the sensors. You have got power port. You have got 3 serial ports to connect RS485 Modbus cables, so you have now the flexibility to connect 3 different chains in a single device. You have relay out inputs to be taken and relay output to manage your plant controlling, like switching or switching off of particular contactor or particular relay based on to particular input changes. So it gives you a full flexibility. This comes without any program being loaded for controlling. Controlling is entirely dependent onto your logics, onto your requirements. So once you share a clear logic, we can share you the proposal for that, and we can do the programming of the device based on your logics to manage or to for you to achieve that requirement of yours. So I think this is what this is all about the devices information related to specifically to data loggers. In addition to these data loggers, we do have our own range of weather sensors, heat radiation, module temperature, ambient temperature, wind speed and direction like anemometers, or the range of we have specific tie-ups at the French levels with Huxaflux, with Kippenzonen, also with the eco range of sensors, if you pyranometers specifically, if you want, Davis, Delta Ohm, and these sensor ranges also we deal in. In addition to this, now we have put up in our portfolio based on to the customer demands, the communication cables, UPS of 600 VAs, and yeah, we are trying to increase the portfolio related to the communication part and the slave devices that you guys might be looking for and want from Webdyn as a single roof solutions. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Do follow, do subscribe to our channel, and please share your comments. And if you have any queries, you can always reach us at our mentioned addresses on the websites. You have the website view, or even you can check it on the data sheets. The addresses are always mentioned. For India, for France, you have the email IDs, you have the contact numbers. Feel free to reach us. Thank you.